Today, we're going to dive into something we all experience every single day, music. But we're going to look at its profound and often totally unseen power over our minds and our emotions, from both a scientific and, a philosophical angle, to figure out what is really going on when we hit play.
I mean, seriously, think about it. One song comes on and suddenly you're full of joy. The next one can bring you to tears. Some tracks can get you totally hyped for a workout or even, a fight. It's this universal thing, right? Music seems to have a direct line straight to our feelings. So, what's the secret? What's the mechanism behind this incredible power?
Well, to find that answer, we actually have to look inside our own heads, because what music does to our brains is so much more than just processing sound. And honestly, this is where it gets really fascinating.
For the longest time, the assumption was pretty simple. Music goes in your ears, so it's handled by the hearing centers of the brain. Makes sense. But modern neuroimaging has totally blown that idea out of the water. Turns out, listening to music, even songs with no words at all, activates huge networks across the entire brain, way beyond just the auditory parts.
And just look at the sheer range of this stuff. It's a genuine full brain workout. Music pulls in our memory, the motor systems that make us tap our feet, our attention, our ability to think abstractly, and of course, our emotional centers. It's like this grand symphony of cognitive functions, all firing off at the exact same time.
And this wasn't just some minor finding. It really surprised the experts. Seeing just how widespread that brain activity was confirmed something huge. Music isn't just background noise. It's one of the most powerful and complete brain stimuli we even know of.
Okay, so if music is this incredibly powerful tool for the brain, the next logical question has to be, how can that power be used to influence us, maybe in ways we don't even see coming?
So a really key idea to get here is something called plasticity. It's this concept that we aren't fixed beings. Our tastes, our desires, what we think is cool or what we think is acceptable, all of it is constantly changing. And art, especially music, is one of the main things that shapes and molds those very desires over time.
So how does that actually happen? Well, one speaker from the Akin Institute breaks it down perfectly. It all starts with a super catchy melody, right? That kind of gets stuck in your head. Then you start singing along to the words, maybe not even really thinking about them. But by repeating those lyrics over and over, you basically become a vehicle for the song's message. And slowly but surely, that message plants a little seed, an idea that becomes a potential action, and it starts to normalize concepts you might have flat out rejected before.
And check this out. Here's a brilliant real-world example. The same speaker told a story about a couple planning their wedding. A friend suggested this huge, popular hit song for their ceremony. The only problem? The lyrics were, from start to finish, about cheating on your spouse. But the melody was so beautiful, so catchy, that the actual message was completely ignored, even in a setting that it was the complete opposite of.
Now, this power to influence, it gets a lot more complicated and maybe even a little more dangerous when we start to look at the massive systems that create and sell the music we all listen to.
One source draws this really sharp line between two kinds of music. So on one hand, you've got community music. Think folk songs, things that grow organically from a culture and reflect genuine community values. But on the other hand, you have commercial music. And this stuff is often engineered in a boardroom, it's packaged, it's marketed, and it's designed not to reflect values, but to create desire and ultimately drive sales.
And this industry, man, it often sells us these carefully constructed images. Like the tortured genius stereotype, where artists are almost pushed to be self-destructive because it fits this marketable story. Or think about the gangster rapper persona, which is sometimes just packaged by producers onto artists who have zero actual gang experience. And for the performer, this can mean creating an onstage alter ego that, as one former musician explained it, can end up completely swallowing the real you. And look, this view of the industry as corrupt isn't just coming from one place. As Mufti Menk points out, he's talked with deeply religious people from Christian, Jewish, and Hindu backgrounds who, even though they love art and beauty, often forbid their own kids from listening to certain pop stars. And why? Because they see the industry itself as promoting something filthy and degrading.
So, we've looked at the incredible science of music's power over our brains, and we've glanced at the commercial industry that often uses that power for profit. All of this brings us back from the big abstract ideas to the most important person in this whole equation, you.
If there's one key takeaway, it's this. Listening is never, ever a passive act. As one source puts it, music is literally made of specific frequencies, and these frequencies are scientifically proven to set off chemical reactions and emotions inside your body.
So whether you realize it or not, it is physically and psychologically affecting you. It's not just background noise, it is an active influence.
And all of this leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought. Yeah, music is the soundtrack to our lives, for sure. But it's also a powerful tool that is constantly, actively shaping our brains, our emotions, and our values. So the real question isn't just, what are you listening to? It's, what are you allowing to become a part of you?